Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to 301, featuring Leonidas, King of Sparta, Xerxes, the Persian God King. Also featuring you, as 300 Spartan warriors with toy-type bodies and asses to die for. Also featuring Wilfred Owen, the First World War poet, and Siegfried Sassoon, another First World War poet, and special guest as Ephialtes, Sir Laurence Olivier as Richard III. Also starring Elliot, a 15-year-old boy. Audience, do you accept a 41-year-old man can play a boy? Honestly, the show can't go on until you shout out yes. Shout out yes. Good. Engage the suspension of disbelief. Now with Elliot, a boy whose hormones are vibrating so hard, he can only temper his testosterone-fueled anger by thinking about the English teacher, Mrs. Henderson's breasts. He has just run all the way home from school.
Bloody homework! Bloody school! I hate it! Hate it! You need an education, don't you? I mean, everybody's got degrees now. Everybody! Even Mr. Jones, school janitor. He's got a 2-1. From Hull. Oh, homework. I mean, homework. War poetry. That's good and bad in equal measure, isn't it? I mean, war's brilliant, isn't it? Especially with all the technology now. Have you heard about Hellfire missiles? Helicopter launch, fire and forget. Helicopter launch, fire and forget. They're amazing. Like your baddie terrorist, he can be on a motorbike or anything, it doesn't matter. Sky captain. Boom! Amazing. And then you've got poetry. It's bobbins, isn't it? Why would you write a poem if you're in the middle of a war? There's a war going on. There's machine guns, there's mud, there's mines, there's tanks. You've never even seen these before. These like huge steel houses that roll over towns and trenches. Do you really think to yourself, look at the clouds! The daffodils have come up! Where's my pen? I feel a poem coming on! I mean, really? What have we got here? Here dead we lie. Cheerful. In Flanders Fields. Don't know where that is. Before action. Sounds a little bit better. This one's not even in English. Dulc et decorum est pro... Who wrote this rubbish? Do you mean Dulc et decorum est pro patria mori? I did. Wilfred Owen, 1893 to 1918. Yeah, but what the fuck does it mean? It is sweet and fitting to die for your country. It's Horace, you know, from the Latin. Not know Latin? Young man, Latin is the gateway to the Romance languages. As soon as you learn that, and Spanish, French, Italian, they open up like little flowers. Why don't you know it? Sorry, are you some sort of dunce? No, I'm top of the class, top of the year. I get bullied every single day between lessons just to prove it. I don't know why they don't teach it me. I mean, I'm smart enough. Yes, it's rather like hamstringing a horse and expecting him to run in a derby. Wilfred, you wrote poetry in a war. Why? You were in a war. The Great War. Trust me, young man, I was there. It was not that great. I died a week before the end. Do you know, all of the generals had agreed on peace. And then they waited, and they waited, and they waited, and they waited, so they could finish on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. Do you know how many men died for a palindromic poster? But the poetry, that was Sassoon. Siegfried, what do they teach you? He was the most beautiful, most superb, most masculine poet I ever met. I first met him in the hospital. Flashback, flashback, flashback. Oh boy, Siegfried. Wilfred. Yeah. Fritz sting you, did he? Oh, yes. You too? Now, shell shock. And I'll soon be back with my lovely lads, bringing up the rear. We're joined at the hips, you know. What are the nurses like here? Gorgeous to a man. You're Sassoon the poet. Yeah, Sassoon the hairdresser won't be long for another 50 years. I'm a great admirer of your work. Oh, thank you, Wilfred. It's not been easy, you know. Poeting for king and country, keeping the populace's pecker up, loins girded, lips stiff. To be honest, Wilfred, it's hard and getting harder. I have a creeping suspicion that the chaps at HQ haven't got a blind idea what's going on down here. Crikey, isn't that a bit controversial? I was going to say blasphemous. Well, maybe. But look here, love. I stuff my boys regularly full of pluck. And those plucky fellows come back damaged. They've run out of pluck. They're plucking dead, old love. And the chaps at the chessboard, they just score it 1-1 if they notice at all. We should do something. Well, I am, but it's a bit hush-hush. I could help in any way. I would love to. Hi, Wilfred. What I'm going to do is... Yes, radical times call for radical action. But keep it stum, Wilfred, loose lips, etc. You're going to write a poem, Wilfred? But yes, I thought, that'll show them. Ha ha! Well, I could help. I've written a few myself. Can you rhyme, Wilfred? Absolutely essential in a poem, that. But not so much, no. Look, Wilfred, I like you. You've got the right sort of spunk for a job like this. I'm going to teach you. You are going to sweat your guts out writing poetry, Wilfred, and we are going to change the world! Flashback over. So that was that. We told HQ what was what, and poetry saved the day. Dulce et decorum est pro patria mori. Yes, it is sweet and fitting to die for your country. Exactly. Cheers, Wilfred. You've made me mind up for me. What? I'm joining up. It is sweet and fitting to die for your country. You know that. Yeah, young man, I think you might have grabbed the wrong end of my stick. No. It's the only solution that makes any real, common and practical sense. Wilfred, I need an education. I can't argue with that. Oh, how? But my mum and dad won't let me go to university. They say I'll be in debt until I'm 60, and they won't allow it. However, if I join up, then the army pays for my education. No debt, no loans, and one educated, graduated fellow. Plus, the army will make a man out of me. No more bullying, ever! I'm not sure that's the way it works. Plus, if the worst thing that happens to me is that I die in glory on the battlefield, well, I get my name read out in the Houses of Commons. There'll be loads of fit girls like crying at my funeral. There'll be stories and tales told about my exploits from now until the end of time. It's a win-win, Wilfred, just like 300. 300? Yeah. 300. The film. 300. 300. the autumn of 480 BC, led by Xerxes, son of Darius, and the second Persian invasion of Greece, is handed down to us in the histories of Herodotus. Yeah? Think so? Look, there's this great king, Leonidas. Young man, stop, right there. Siggy, you still here, Siggy? Siggy? Yes, oh boy. I think we're about to be entertained. Oh, excellent. What with the 300 Spartans? Do you mean about a Thermopylae from the autumn of 480 BC, led by Xerxes? So yes. Take a seat, Siggy. Young man, sorry, please. Pray, continue. Right, sitting comfortably? I'll begin. There's this great king, Leonidas, and he's tall and he's dark and his beard's manly and his eyes glint like cold steel and his muscles are... Muscles are huge. And his stomach's like a washboard. His legs are like tree trunks. He wears these little leather pants. His skin shines in the autumn haze. Rather homoerotic, isn't this? It's positively gay, old boy. Look at that uniform. Far better than the itchy khaki we were trussed up in, Wilfred. Yes, but it is gay, isn't it? Completely, Wilfred. It's not gay. It can't be. He's married. So, he's teaching his son how to be like a warrior king after him, and his wife's there, and she's fit. She's like Mrs. Henderson, fit, like perfect, boobies, and then this messenger arrives. And there's a bit missing from this part of the show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you can tell what that is. That is the suspense music. And that's where you guys come in. Remember, this is theatre, so the more you come into this, the more you will get out of it. We'll take this lady as the dividing line, okay? So everyone to the right, including yourself. You guys here, and then we guys over here. Your job is to do this. Dum, 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 with the actions, okay? Un, deux, trois. Dum, 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 dum. You guys. Dum, dum. Rat-a-tat-a, 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 rat-a-tat-a. A messenger arrives! And he drops this huge bag of human heads at the ground at Leonidas' feet. And he says, greetings! It's a bit deeper than that usually, will we go, greetings. Greetings! I come from Xerxes, the living god king. Hey, Yanni, this is the wife, Georgie. I think you'll agree that she is. So, messenger, before you speak, know this. Everyone is responsible for what comes out of the mouths in Sparta, even messengers. What does Xerxes want? A gift of earth and water. Don't be coy, don't be stupid, barbarian, you can afford neither. Why can this woman speak freely in the company of men? Because only Spartan women give birth to real men. Kai Tictamon Mon Andros, yes, she actually said that to an Athenian lady. Oh, historically accurate is this then, old boy? Don't be silly. Sorry, young man, please. Continue. Let's go over to the well. Maybe some fresh water will cool our tongues. What does Xerxes want? Xerxes commands an army so massive that the ground shakes at its very approach. Its number so large that when it stops, it drinks whole rivers dry. All he requires from you is a gift of earth and water, a token of Sparta's submission. Submission. Word has it that the Athenians have already turned you down, and I'm sorry if those philosophers and boy lovers have found that kind of backbone. And what with Sparta's reputation to consider, Be careful, Leonidas. Your next words may be your last as king. You bring the severed heads of crowned kings to my city gates. You insult my wife. You threaten my people with slavery and death. Oh, I have chosen my words carefully, Persian. Perhaps you should have done the same. Earth and water. You'll find plenty of both down there. What? This is madness! Blasphemy! Nobody threatens a messenger. No one! It's madness! And the king looks around at the people that he's sworn to protect. He sees a child suckling at its mother's breast. He sees his queen. Madness. Tension music, please. 1, 2, 3, go! Madness! This is Manchester fucking Sparta! Now, I want to see who in the audience can do the longest scream as if you were someone falling down a well in slow motion on a single breath. Ready? Go! Round of applause for Becca, please. That was like a 2-part harmony. Oh, it was very zen. It was like, oh. Manchester? We're in Manchester? Well, yeah, Manchester, Sparta. It's pretty much the same thing, Wilfred. Look at the football. United, look at the supporters. That's Sparta. And the women, Wilfred. Manchester women. They're fit. Mrs. Henderson, fit. And if you march to a different drum, Wilfred, there's always Canal Street and the gay village. You really should, even as a ghost, it's spectacular. Okay, Siggy! Young man, I was just going to say, I served in the Manchester Regiment. Write that in your homework, bound to get you an extra couple of points, yeah? Marked, yeah. Wilfred Owen, erstwhile Manchester Regiment. Wasn't very sporting, though, that was it, Wilfred? I mean, not even Fritz would have done that. No, I agree, Siggy, you simply don't shoot the messenger, but back to the case in point, young man. Dulce et decorum est patria mori, was it sweet and fitting that the messenger died? You've got to wait for a bit for the sweet and fitting deaths. You kind of got to wait till right at the end, to be honest. But anyway, now you see, what the king's got to do, he's got to go up and ask the E4s, who are the priests, for their permission to go to war. He threw the messenger down the well and he didn't have permission to go to war? I used to have to ask permission to go to the lavatory. It's great fun. So, he does this climb, and like the priests, they're like all priests, really, and some celebrities from the 60s and 70s, as it turns out. They're horrible perverts. Young man, I was going to join the clergy. Really, Wilfred? Why? I thought some of the music is uplifting. Some of the architecture's really quite stunning. Come on, Wilfred, really, why? I found the chastity of the clergy appealing. That's as you were really a bender, old boy. Write that down in your homework. Wilfred Owen was homosexual. You don't mind me, Wilfred? No! Why should I mind, Siggy, if my orientation or private should be put in some child's homework to be discussed by the entire class? Siggy! You see, young man, Wilfred here is what we call a repressed homosexual. Now, I wasn't openly homosexual. I was blatantly. One of the advantages of being stinking rich. I knew I was homosexual from day one, as indeed did dear Mama and Papa. After all, they christened me Siegfried, Lorraine, Sassoon. But some people do know from day one, and others develop feelings as they grow, which they find hard to reconcile, not just with others' expectations of them, but their own expectations of themselves. And this leads to a muddying, if you like, of the emotional waters, which, all right, gay pride meeting over. Can we get back to the film, please? Thank you. He climbs the mountain. He sees the priest. Hello, Leonidas. Waiting for you. Come inside. The Persians claim that they number in the millions. They may exaggerate, but there is no doubt that we face the most massive army ever assembled. We'll use our superior fighting techniques and the terrain of Greece herself to defend us. What we'll do is rebuild the old sea wall, pushing the Persians into that pass that we call the Hot Gates. Once there, Xerxes' numbers will count for nothing. Wave upon wave of Persian invaders will smash against Spartan shields, and none shall pass. What do you think? First, we must ask the oracle. Now, the ephors only chose the most beautiful girls in Sparta to be the oracles, and they divined the future by dancing. It was a bit like this. She says, the army cannot march. Put your faith in the old gods. Obey the Khanea. Please, if I put my faith in the old gods, and Sparta will burn, and the daughters become slaves, or even worse. Please, foul priest, please. Fine, foul priest. Cut to that night, and Leonidas is in his bedchamber, and he's looking out over the entire city of Sparta from his bedroom window. It's not gay! Anyway, the queen's in the bedchamber as well. She's naked as well, and she's fit. She's like Mrs. Henderson fit. The king goes over to her, pushes her hair from her head, touches her cheek. With his thumb and his forefinger, he strokes her shoulder and runs his thumb and forefinger down her arm. His thumb touches the underside of her breast. With his other hand, he reaches for the upraised and puckered skin of the neck. Of the neck. I think we can skip this bit. No! No! I don't want to skip this scene. This is Mrs. Henderson. I mean, this is the Queen. I don't want to skip this. Of course you don't. You're 15. Look, young man, there is nothing wrong with abstinence. Take cold showers. Go on long runs. Wear boxing gloves to bed. Right, fine. Cut to the next morning then. So, Leonidas goes out the city walls and meets his men. Right, Captain. Are the men assembled? Yes, sir. All 300. Excellent. And all have sons? Yes, sir. All of them. Now, Captain. Your son. He's too young to have lain with a woman. I know how you feel. He's no younger than we were the first time, sire. And by the way, I've got 2 others. My friend you are. But as captain, there is none finer. United! The army cannot march! The army are not allowed to march! I know. I was feeling a bit crampy. Thought I'd take a wee stroll. These 300 are my personal guard. Stroll? Where, may I ask? Now you mention it. I thought I'd go up north. The Hot Gates. Ah! goodbye, foul priest. Husband! Husband! Spartan! Yes, my lady. Return with your shield, or on it. Epitassy, yeah. That was a common phrase of the Spartan women at the time. Yeah, I knew a few generals with attitudes like that. Well, anyone who hadn't been to the front, really. Yes, my lady. Goodbye, my love. He doesn't say it. There is no rule for softness or weakness in Sparta. Only the hard, only the strong can call themselves Spartans. Only the hard, only the strong. It's really not healthy for young men to contain all of that emotion. Well, they can't all be poets, can they, old love? So, go on, young man. Then we march. And we march. We march. We march. Go on. And we march. There was loads of marching in 480 BC. There was loads of marching in 1914. Wilfred? Towards our distant rest, we began to trudge. Men marched asleep. Many had lost their boots, but limped on, bloodshot. All went lame, all blind, drunk with fatigue. Yeah, all right, this is Greece. It's really sunny. So on a holiday programme, it's great marching there. Honestly, it's dead nice. So, Daxos and the Athenians. What a pleasant surprise. The morning's full of surprisingly nice. We heard that Sparta was on the warpath, so we decided to join forces, but you bring this feud, this pitiful feud against Xerxes' millions. I thought at least Sparta's complement would equal our own. Doesn't it? You, Arcadian, what's your profession? What? I'm the potter, sir. You, Arcadian, your profession? What? I'm the baker, sir. You, Arcadian, your profession? I'm the sculptor, sir. You, Arcadian, your profession? I just call out the bingo. For those of you who hasn't seen the film, there is a call and response bit here where Leonidas will say, and you Spartans, what's your profession? And the correct response is, awoo, awoo! So let's just try that. Spartans, what's your profession? Awoo, awoo! Excellent, so let's really pile into it for this bit. Spartans! What's your profession? Awoo, awoo! You see, old friend, I did bring more soldiers than you. That march takes him down to the sea wall. How's the work on the sea wall going, Captain? We finished it, sire. Excellent, that cut out a couple of unnecessary scenes. There's no little wee paths through the mountains that would lead the Persians to our backs, because, strategically speaking, that would be shit. There is no such path, sire. There is, indeed, such a path, my lord. The Persians can indeed outflank us. Silence, monster, I'll kill you where you stand. Captain, I gave no such order. Leave us. I must apologise for my friend the captain. He's a good soldier, but a little short on manners. There is no need to apologise. I know what I look like. My mother's love caused my parents to flee, lest I be discarded. Dead. Yes, these Spartans were really beastly to their boys. That rather reminds me of Marlborough, where I was schooled. No, if a child was born with disabilities, then they were just cast out and left to survive as best as they could in the wild. Rather sounds like current government policy to me.
My lord, allow me to fight for you and redeem my father's name. He taught me the Spartan ways. I will kill many, many, many Persians. My arm is longer. My thrust is stronger.
Good God, that rhyme was dreadful. A fine thrust, but let me see you raise your shield arm. Your father should have taught you how a phalanx works. It's the source of all our Spartan strength. Each man defends the man on his left with his shield from thigh to neck. Any weakness and the phalanx shatters from thigh to neck. I'm sorry, Ephialtes. You can't raise your arm high enough. Sorry, friend. I cannot use you.
No! Mother, you are wrong! Father, you are wrong! You are wrong! Leonidas.
And tension music, please. 1, 2, 3. Now not stamping your feet and sick of invading Persians. What is it, sire? An earthquake? No! Persians! Thousands of them! Gotta stop writing that joke in. There's only me that laughs at it. It's just for English people. Zulu, film from the city. Persians, thousands of them. Anyway. Yes, they estimate that there were between 70 and 300,000 Persians at Thermopylae City. Twice as many as Zach died at Passchendaele. 600,000 men. On the first day of the song, there were 50,000 casualties. Young man, people read that war is hell. But how many people actually truly understand what that single, simple, 4-lettered word, hell, actually means? Wilfred, you eat beside the dead, drink beside the dead, relieve yourself by the dead, and sleep by the dead. Men were squashed, cut in two, divided top to bottom, blown into showers, bellies turned inside out, skulls forced into the chest, as if by blow from a giant club. You know, man, to have died as I did, by bullet, seems nothing at all. You remain, but to be dismembered, torn to pieces, reduced to pulp. Bloody hell, cheer up, will you? I know First World War, bad, but this is a good war. It's a great war. It's a lovely war. There these Spartans are, okay? They're in the crevice, in the mountains, the hot gate. And the Persian army's all here. And the Persian captain goes forward. Spartans! Lay down your weapons! Spartans! Lay down your weapons! Spartans! Dulce et decorum est, young man. All he said was lay down your weapons. Yeah, all right, I'm beginning to see your point. But then Leonidas replies, Persians, come and get them! Maloney Labi, Siggy. Yeah, still the current motto of the Greek army to this very day. and a branch of the American Special Forces. Thieving sods. Then the battle begins. What on earth is he doing? Some sort of contemporary dance. No, it's a slow-mo battle scene. It's hard to do a slow-mo battle scene when there's just one of you, you know. So this amazing one-man show, one-man Lord of the Rings. He had these amazing battle scenes in them. You saw a show with just one man for an hour. God, how dreadful. And cheap, Siggy, cheap. There's nothing wrong with one-man shows, especially at this price. So, after the battle was a brief respite, and the Spartans are going around and they're killing the Persian injured. Sire, Persian contingent. Too small to be an attacking force, but they're coming towards us. Oh, maybe they fancy a chat. I'm going to meet them. You're in charge, Captain. But sire, relax. If they kill me, all of Sparta goes to war. Let's pray that that's stupid. Let's pray we're that lucky. Besides, there's no reason we can't be civilized, is there? Not at all, sire. So, Leonidas goes down to the beach. And he sees this huge golden throne approaching, carried on the backs of 100 slaves, and on it is Xerxes, the living god king. And he's tall, and his eyes are lined, his lips are rouged, and he's got these piercings all over. He's got a chain that runs through them. He wears a golden jock strap. You alright, Bonnie lad? Guessing you must be Xerxes. Leonidas. It's nothing sort of ridiculous that you and your valiant Spartan warriors should die over something so simple. It's a misunderstanding. You fight for your lands. Imagine them reduced to ash. Consider the fate of your women folk. You don't know our women. I may as well have marched them up here, judging from what I've seen so far. You've got plenty of men, but no real soldiers. It won't be long before they start fearing my spears more than they do your whips. It's not the lash they fear. It's my divine power. But I could be a generous god. I'll make you warlord of all of Greece. All of your Athenian rivals will bow down to you on their knees if you simply kneel on yours. To me. Tempting offer. I'd be crazy to refuse it, but this kneeling business. I'm afraid that killing all of those slaves of yours is give me a wee bit of a cramp. I'm probably best away just walking it off. Leonidas, as generous as God as I am, I can be cruel. I will erase Sparta from the history books. There'll be no glory in your death. No one will ever know. They'll know. They'll know that a band of free men held out against a tyrant, that this band of brothers held out against a far larger force. By the end of this, they'll know. Even a god king can bleed. Xerxes goes batshit crazy. He throws everything he's got at the Spartans. He throws rhinoceroses. He throws elephants. He's even got a tribe and they discover gunpowder and they make grenades and throw them. I don't understand it's 480 BC, but it's in the film, so it must be true. Nothing breaks down the Spartans' resolve until the traitor. Ephialtes, the gods were cruel to shape you so, and the Spartans cruel still to reject you. But here we are surrounded by the nymphs and satyrs from 1,000 kingdoms. Where are you from, my dear? United States. Very nice. And unusual for 480 BC, but we'll get there. Now, Ephialtes, lead my men to the hidden path of the cursed Spartans' backs, and your joys and rewards will be endless.
Yes, I want it all. Women, wealth, power, and one more thing.
Name it.
A uniform.
It's yours. That night. Daxos! Leonidas, we're undone. A hunchback traitor has led Xerxes' men to the baths. In the morning we'll be surrounded, and the hot gates will fall.
Excellent. Spartans, prepare for glory.
Hey, man! There's no glory to be had here. Just retreat, or surrender, or death.
Well, that's an easy one for us, Arcadian. Spartans never retreat. Spartans never surrender. Go, spread the word. Let every Greek here check his soul. And while you're at it, check your own. Men, tomorrow we will light a fire that will burn in the hearts of free men down the centuries. We are ushering in a new age, an age of reason, an age of justice, an age of law, and all will know that 300 Spartans gave their last breaths to defend it. They may take our lives, but they will never take our freedom. Spartans! Ready your breakfast. For tonight, we dine in hell! Tension music, please! So, cut to the next morning, okay? Well, Siggy, so with me, great. The Spartans are there, and they're in a tortoise-shell position. You know, all the shields are up, but it's like a porcupine because all the spears are sticking out. And Leonidas is stood in front of them like that. And Xerxes, he's on his golden throne and backs of 100 slaves, isn't that? And then all the Persian archers, they're all like that, with all the bows drawn like that, just looking at them, you know, just ready and waiting. And then out comes the Persian spokesman, and with him, the traitor, in his new uniform. Hey, Leonidas? Yeah. Spokesman for the living God King. Look, you truly have turned calamity into victory. Despite your arrogance, the living God King has come to admire and respect Spartan fighting valor and skill. You will be made warlord of all of Greece. All of your rivals will lay their arms at your feet. If you simply lay your arms at the feet of the one true master of the world.
Do it, Leonidas! Use your reason! Use your logic! Think of your men!
Oh, Ephialtes, may you live forever.
No!
I mean, somebody offered me unlimited wealth, power, men, and eternal life. I'm tempted to take it.
Siggy, you mean betraying your own kind? They accused me of doing that anyway, Wilfred. Shell shock in the hospital when I met you. It wasn't shell shock. All I did was write a letter that questioned HQ's policy. They decided I must have gone mad and had me committed. People are often like that if you don't toe their line. All right, yes, this is the bit that we're waiting for, okay? So shh. Sorry. For the last time tonight, ladies and gentlemen, tension music, please. 1, 2, 3, go! So, the tortoise shell splits open. The soldier passes Leonidas a spear. The Persians start firing in. Leonidas knows. was an honour to die at your side. And it was an honour to live at yours. Holding hands isn't gay! So, you see, it is sweet and fitting that Leonidas died for his country, because it wasn't just his country, he died for freedom. And freedom isn't free, it comes at the highest cost of all, which is the blood and sacrifice of men and women around the world. Go! Tell the Spartans, stranger passing by, that here, under Spartan law, we lie. Good God, that rhyme was dreadful. Look, young man, Wilfred learned a thing or three from me, you know. Why don't you read that one? Bent double like old beggars under sacks, knock-kneed, coughing like hags, we cursed through sludge till on the haunting flares we turned our backs, and towards our distant rest began to trudge. Men marched asleep. Many had lost their boots but limped on, bloodshot. All went lame, all blind, drunk with fatigue. Deaf, even to the hoots of gas shells dropping softly behind. Gas? Gas! Quick, boys! An ecstasy of fumbling, fitting the clumsy helmets just in time, but someone was still yelling out and stumbling and floundering like a man in fire or in line, dim through misty panes and thick green light, as under a green sea I saw him drowning. In all my dreams, he plunges at me, guttering, choking, drowning. If, in some smothering dreams, you too could pace behind the wagon that we flung him in and watch the white eyes writhing in his face, his hanging face like a devil sick of sin. If you could hear at every jolt the blood come gargling from froth-corrupted lungs, bitter as the cud of vile, incurable sores on innocents' tongues. My friend, I would not tell with such high zest to children ardent for some desperate glory the old lie, dulce et decorum est, pro patria mori. Excellent young man, and beautiful as ever Wilfred, but you're both wrong, you know. Death, honourable or not, glorious or not, is the end. What happens if you survive? That was my test. You go out so healthy, so young, so perfect, so bright, and you come back broken, if not mentally or physically. And I forget how many broken men I saw at the end of my war, but definitely mentally. How do you leave the battlefield behind, the things that you've seen, the things that you've done? How do you live without someone bellowing orders at you at every minute of every hour of every day? How do you live in the quiet of civilian life after that? And the answer is you can't. There's a charity organisation called Combat Stress that estimates that 20%, that's 1 in 5, of all serving men and women will experience mental health issues when they leave. In the UK, as far as fitting in society goes, 10% of our prison population are ex-servicemen and women. Up to 30% of the homeless in the UK are ex-servicemen and women. In the United States, that's 18% of your homeless are ex-servicemen and women. We hit a horrific statistic when it was realised that more people, veterans from the Falklands conflict, had committed suicide than had died on the battlefield. And that's the same for the American forces in the Iraq wars. More servicemen killed themselves than died on the battlefield. We celebrate the dead. We read out their names in the Houses of Parliament. We give them all of the services and all of the ceremonies. But if you survive, then just like the homeless, you are walked past and ignored, and that has to change. So, don't you fall for the old lie, young man, dulce et decorum est pro patria mori. Here, your homework is done. Come on, Wilfred! You need to make up for lost time. I know this wonderful little bar in Canal Street. much indeed for coming out to the show. Please, we're on the last weekend now. See as many shows as you possibly can. You can buy me a drink in the Stillwater, which is where I'm going to be at the end of this. What else? Oh yeah, if there's anyone who's never been to the Lincoln Centre, come and see me, because I've got a ticket for Milan tonight, which is a free. So, see you later.